Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Listen Up English. I'm Natasha, and today I'm taking you on a very different kind of adventure. Imagine yourself on a train, but not just any train. This one is climbing through the northern mountains, where winter reigns with snow, moss, storms, and silence. This journey is not only about landscapes, it's about resilience, memory, and the quiet strength we discover in cold places. So stay with me, because by the end of this story, you'll not only practice advanced English listening, you'll feel the chill of the wind, the warmth of strangers, and the courage that winter demands. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Listen Up English, and share it with your friends. Ready? Let's begin. The story begins on a cold December morning. Natasha boards a train at a small station in the plains. The air already carries the bite of winter, though snow has not yet fallen here. She describes, "The platform smells of coal and smoke. Passengers wear heavy coats, woolen scarves, their breath visible in the frosty air. The train whistles, and I know, it's time to leave the mild land behind and enter the kingdom of ice." Emma joins her, carrying a thermos of hot coffee. "Natasha, are you ready for 2 days of snow?" Natasha smiles. "I'm ready for whatever the mountains will teach us." As the train moves north, the scenery changes. Grass turns white with frost, rivers are edged with ice. Bare trees stretch their black branches against the pale sky. Natasha notes, "The world looks stripped to its essence, as if nature itself has gone silent to listen." A fellow traveler, an old mountaineer with a fur hat, remarks, "Winter is not just a season. It is a teacher. It strips away what is unnecessary and shows you what endures." Emma leans closer, fascinated. Natasha writes this down in her journal, realizing the journey is already more than physical, it is philosophical. By late afternoon, the sky darkens early. The train passes small villages, chimneys releasing smoke, windows glowing golden against the snow outside. Natasha reflects, "From the train, I see warmth inside those houses. Families gathered, fires burning, soup simmering. It reminds me that winter, though harsh, creates intimacy." Emma whispers, "It feels both lonely and comforting at the same time." Natasha agrees. "Yes, Emma. Winter teaches us about paradox, cold outside, warmth inside." That night, they eat in the dining car. The menu offers hearty stews, bread still warm from the oven, and mulled wine scented with cinnamon and cloves. As snowflakes begin to fall against the window, Natasha tells the audience, "Food in winter tastes stronger, richer, because our bodies crave warmth. Every spoonful of stew feels like a shield against the cold." Emma clinks her glass against Natasha's. "To the road ahead and the stories it will bring." My friends, the first chapter of our winter journey has begun. We've left the plains, entered the frost, and tasted the first hints of snow. But this is only the surface. Tomorrow, the train will climb higher into the true wilderness of the mountains, where storms wait and legends sleep under the ice. Stay with me because the heart of winter is yet to come. My dear friends, the night has passed, and now the train climbs higher. Outside, the world is no longer only touched by winter, it is claimed by it. Snow covers everything, and the mountains rise like frozen guardians of the land. Morning arrives with silence, except for the steady hum of the train. Natasha looks out the window and sees a world transformed. Hills blanketed in white, trees heavy with snow, their branches bending like bowed heads. Icicles glittering on fences, sparkling in the pale sun. Herds of deer standing still, their breath clouds of mist against the frost. Emma presses her forehead against the glass. Natasha, it's like a painting, too perfect to be real. Natasha whispers, Yes, Emma. Winter erases mistakes. It covers everything with silence, beauty, and patience. By noon, the sky grows darker, the wind picks up, and snow begins to fall heavily. Soon the flakes are so thick that the landscape disappears. The train rattles as if resisting the storm. The conductor walks through the cabin, reassuring passengers, Please remain calm. The tracks are clear, but we may move more slowly. Emma grips Natasha's hand. It feels like the world is closing in. Natasha steadies her. Don't be afraid. Sometimes storms show us how strong we are. The blizzard roars outside, shaking the windows, but inside the cabin, people draw closer, sharing warmth through conversation and presence. During the storm, Natasha notices a man in a dark coat seated quietly in the corner of the cabin. His face is partly hidden by a scarf, and he holds an old leather notebook. Curiosity stirs. Natasha leans forward politely. Are you writing something? The man looks up, eyes sharp yet kind. Yes, I write about storms. I've been following them for years. Emma tilts her head. You're a scientist? He smiles faintly. Not exactly. Some storms you measure with instruments, others you measure with memory. I write about both. Natasha feels a chill that has nothing to do with the cold outside. The man allows Natasha to glimpse a page. Inside are sketches of mountains, diagrams of winds, and poetic lines. A storm is not an enemy. It is a mirror, showing us how fragile and how resilient we are. Emma whispers to Natasha, This is more than science. It's philosophy. The man nods as if hearing her. Yes, storms break trees, but they also carve rivers, shape valleys, and test souls. Without storms, the world, and we, would be less. Natasha closes her eyes, letting the rhythm of his words settle inside her. The storm grows fiercer, and for a brief moment, the train's power flickers. The lights dim, passengers murmur in worry. Then, unexpectedly, the woman across the aisle takes out a candle from her bag. She lights it carefully, shielding the flame with her hands. The soft glow spreads warmth across the cabin. Natasha whispers, One candle in a storm. It feels like hope itself. Emma nods. Yes, the smallest light matters most when the darkness is strongest. Passengers relax, united not by electricity, but by a fragile flame. Hours later, the storm finally weakens. The snow outside slows to a gentle fall, the wind softens. The train emerges from clouds into a high plateau where the sky clears, revealing stars bright even in daylight. Natasha presses her hand against the window. We survived the first trial of winter, and in it, we found not only fear, but also wisdom, light, and unexpected companionship. Emma exhales deeply, smiling again. Yes, storms are frightening, but sometimes they give us new friends. My friends, today the train carried us into the mountains, through the fury of a blizzard, and into the quiet after the storm. We met a mysterious man with a notebook of storms and saw how even a candle can carry hope. But winter is not done testing us. Ahead lie frozen lakes, forgotten villages, and a night where silence speaks louder than words. Stay with me. The heart of winter grows deeper with every mile. My dear friends, the blizzard has passed, but winter still holds us in its hand. As the train pushes further into the mountains, we encounter not just snow and storms, but the silence that follows. And sometimes, silence speaks louder than 1,000 voices. The train slows as it approaches a vast frozen lake. The surface is smooth as glass, stretching endlessly under the pale sun. Cracks zigzag across the ice, whispering the language of water trapped in time. Emma gasps. Natasha, it looks like the world has stopped moving. Natasha whispers, Yes, Emma. A lake in winter is a mirror that has forgotten how to reflect on the shore. A lone figure ice fishes through a small hole, patient as a statue. Natasha wonders what it takes to wait in such cold for life hidden beneath the ice. Beyond the lake, the train passes a cluster of wooden houses, their roofs sagging under snow, windows dark, doors broken. Emma shivers. Why are they empty? The old mountaineer replies softly, People left long ago. Winters grew harsher, work moved to the cities, but sometimes at night, travelers say they see smoke rising from these chimneys, memories that refuse to leave. Natasha feels a chill that is not from the cold. Places remember us, even when we forget them. The train moves on, but the image of the silent village lingers. As evening falls, the passengers grow quieter. The storm has drained their energy, and the frozen world outside invites contemplation. The usual chatter fades, replaced by the rhythmic clack of the train wheels. Emma leans against Natasha. Why does silence feel heavier in winter? Natasha answers softly, Because winter removes distractions. No buzzing insects, no flowing rivers, no busy fields. Only breath, heartbeat, and thought. Silence is not empty, it is full of what we usually ignore. The mysterious man with the notebook nods, writing silently as if confirming her words. When darkness falls completely, the train emerges onto an open plateau. The sky is clear, the stars sharp and countless. The Milky Way arches overhead like a frozen river of light. Passengers gather at the windows, awed. A child whispers, Are those stars, or snow that never melts? Natasha smiles. Both, perhaps. Snow for the earth, stars for the sky. Each belongs to its world, but both remind us how small we are. Emma presses her hands together. I feel both lost and found at the same time. Later, in the dining car, only a few lamps glow. Natasha sips hot chocolate, her notebook open. She writes, Winter silence teaches us to listen, to our fears, to our hopes, to each other. In noise, we forget ourselves. In silence, we meet ourselves again. She closes the book, feeling the weight of the day. Emma watches her quietly and asks, Natasha, do you think silence is good for everyone? Natasha thinks. For some, silence is peace. For others, it is loneliness. But perhaps we all need both, to know who we are. Back in their cabin, passengers drift into sleep. The teacher's glasses slip down his nose. The woman with flowers, now wilted from the cold, dreams quietly. The man with the notebook still writes, tireless. Outside, the snow continues to fall, but softly, like the world whispering a lullaby. Natasha closes her eyes, telling herself, Tonight, the silence is not empty. It is full of dreams. My friends, today the train carried us past frozen lakes, abandoned villages, and into a silence that demanded reflection. We learned that winter's quiet is not absence, but presence, an invitation to listen more deeply. But our journey is not yet finished. Tomorrow, the mountains will test us again, with avalanches, hidden valleys, and an ancient winter festival waiting beyond the snow. Stay with me. The heart of this story has many more beats. My dear friends, the silence of last night still lingers in our hearts. But winter is not only about silence, it can roar too. As the train pushes deeper into the mountains, we will face nature's power, uncover forgotten places, and join a celebration older than memory. Morning comes with a sharp wind. The conductor makes an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated. We are entering an avalanche zone. The snow is unstable. Emma grips Natasha's sleeve. An avalanche? That sounds terrifying. Natasha speaks calmly. Yes, Emma. But fear is natural. Fear reminds us that we are alive. Outside the window, steep slopes loom, their white walls heavy with snow. The train slows, crawling carefully across the narrow path. Every sound, every rumble feels dangerous. The mysterious man with the notebook murmurs, "Sometimes mountains release their anger not as storms, but as falling snow." Suddenly, a deep rumble shakes the earth. Passengers gasp. From the mountainside above, a cascade of snow breaks loose, roaring downward like a white river. Emma cries out, "Natasha, it's coming!" But the avalanche crashes onto a lower slope, stopping short of the tracks. The train trembles but holds steady. When the snow settles, silence returns, even heavier than before. Natasha exhales. "My friends, we were lucky. We saw winter's fury and survived it. Let this remind us, life is fragile, yet every survival is a gift." After hours, the train emerges into a secluded valley. Unlike the frozen plateau, this place seems alive. Tall pines protect it from the worst of the storms, and a river still flows beneath sheets of ice. Emma marvels. It feels like a secret world, hidden inside the mountains. The teacher nods. Valleys are sanctuaries. They remind us that even in hardship, there are shelters. Natasha writes in her journal. Life always hides a valley somewhere, an oasis of calm after avalanches. The train makes an unscheduled stop at a small mountain village. Wooden houses line the snowy streets. Colorful banners hang between the rooftops. The air buzzes with music, drums, flutes, and laughter. Emma's eyes widen. "Natasha, what's happening here?" A villager explains warmly, "Tonight is our winter festival. Once a year, we dance to honor the snow, the fire, and the strength that keeps us alive." Natasha smiles. A festival in the heart of winter. It's like light inside darkness. That evening, villagers gather in the central square. A huge bonfire blazes, sparks flying into the night sky. People dance in circles, stamping their boots, clapping their hands, their voices rising in songs passed down for centuries. Emma claps along, her cheeks glowing from the firelight. "Natasha, it feels like the cold doesn't exist anymore." Natasha replies, "Yes, fire does more than warm bodies, it warms souls." The guitar girl joins with her instrument, blending her music into the villagers' ancient songs. Tables appear, laden with roasted meat, fresh bread, bowls of stew, and hot cider. Villagers insist the passengers eat. Natasha tastes everything, savoring not just the flavors, but the generosity. She tells the audience, "In harsh winters, sharing food is not a courtesy, it is survival." And survival, when shared, becomes joy. Emma bites into warm bread and sighs happily. This is the best meal of the journey. At midnight, the villagers carry paper lanterns to the river's edge. Each person whispers a wish, then sets the lantern afloat on the icy water. Hundreds of glowing lights drift downstream, reflections dancing like stars on the dark current. Natasha closes her eyes and whispers, "I wish for courage, to keep walking through every storm." Emma whispers too, though she keeps her wish secret. As they watch the lanterns vanish into the distance, Natasha says softly, "My friends, traditions like this remind us, even in winter, we send our hopes forward, carried by light." Today, the mountains showed us avalanches, valleys, and a festival of fire and light. We learned that danger and celebration often live side by side, And that hope is brightest when the night is darkest. But the journey continues. Beyond this valley, the train will climb once more, toward frozen tunnels, old legends carved in stone, and a night that will test our endurance. Stay with me, because winter still has secrets to reveal. My dear friends, the warmth of the winter festival is now behind us. Ahead lies a harsher chapter. The train enters the deepest part of the mountains, where tunnels echo with ancient voices, and the night will test the very core of our endurance. The train whistles as it approaches the first tunnel. Massive stone arches mark the entrance, their tops covered in icicles. The train plunges inside, and the world outside disappears. Emma shivers. Natasha, it feels like we've entered the belly of the mountain. The air grows colder inside. Frost spreads across the windows, forming delicate patterns like feathers and flowers. Each tunnel seems endless, the sound of the wheels echoing like a heartbeat deep underground. At one tunnel stop, passengers are allowed out briefly. The walls of the station are carved with strange figures, hunters with bows, animals of the forest, and giant winged creatures. The teacher reads an inscription slowly. It says, "Those who walk through darkness must carry their own fire." Natasha touches the carvings gently. These are not just decorations. They are lessons passed down in stone, warnings and wisdom from those who endured before us. Emma whispers, "It feels like the mountains are alive, speaking to us through history." At one tunnel stop, passengers are allowed out briefly. The walls of the station are carved with strange figures. Hunters with bows, animals of the forest, and giant winged creatures. The teacher reads an inscription slowly. It says, "Those who walk through darkness must carry their own fire." Natasha touches the carvings gently. These are not just decorations. They are lessons passed down in stone, warnings and wisdom from those who endured before us. Emma whispers, "It feels like the mountains are alive, speaking to us through history." Back on the train, the mysterious man with the notebook shares a story he has collected. Long ago, people believed a great white wolf guarded these peaks. In times of danger, it appeared in snowstorms, guiding travelers to safety. Some still claim to hear its howl when the wind grows too strong. Emma's eyes widen. A wolf spirit? That sounds both frightening and comforting. Natasha nods. Yes. Legends are not about proof. They are about meaning. In the harshest places, hope often takes the shape of an animal, a star, or a flame. That evening, the temperature plummets. Even inside the train, passengers see their breath. The heating system struggles. Blankets are passed around. Emma rubs her hands desperately. Natasha, it feels like the cold is inside my bones. Natasha wraps her scarf around both of them, whispering, "Emma, endurance is not about ignoring the cold. It's about holding on until warmth returns." The old mountaineer offers advice. Breathe slowly. Conserve your strength. Think of fire, not frost. In the dining car, passengers gather, huddling close. The guitar girl strums a soft tune, her fingers trembling but steady. The woman with flowers, though her bouquet is fading, places a single rose on the table, saying, "Beauty must exist, even in the coldest night." Natasha tells the group, "We are each other's fire now." Alone, the night would defeat us. Together we will endure. The passengers nod, drinking hot tea passed around by the conductor, their faces glowing faintly in the lamplight. Near midnight, the train passes out of a tunnel into open air again. The sky is brutally clear, stars sharp like diamonds scattered across black velvet. Snow reflects the starlight so brightly that it looks like the earth itself is glowing. Emma whispers in awe, "It's freezing, but it's also the most beautiful night I've ever seen." Natasha smiles faintly. Yes, sometimes the harshest nights reveal the brightest skies. Before sleep, Natasha opens her journal with trembling hands. The coldest night teaches us endurance. It shows us that survival is not only physical, it is emotional. We survive by sharing warmth, by telling stories, by believing in beauty when the world is frozen. She closes the notebook, her breath misting the page. My friends, tonight the mountains gave us tunnels carved with wisdom, legends carried by the wind, and the coldest test of our strength. Yet even in frost we found warmth, in music, in kindness, in the simple act of staying together. But winter's story is not finished. Ahead, the train will descend into valleys of ice, where hidden dangers wait, and where the line between myth and reality begins to blur. Stay with me. The journey grows deeper with every mile. My dear friends, after the coldest night, you might think winter has given us its worst. But the mountains still have secrets. As the train slides into valleys of ice, danger sharpens, and legends begin to walk beside us. The train descends from the tunnels into a low, frozen valley. Everywhere Natasha looks, the world is trapped in ice. The river flows silently under thick glassy sheets. Trees stand encased in frost, their branches brittle and sparkling like crystal. The air itself feels solid, heavy, biting at skin and lungs. Emma shivers. Natasha, it's beautiful, but it feels deadly. Natasha nods. Yes. Beauty and danger often wear the same coat. Suddenly, the train slows. The conductor announces, "Attention passengers, we are crossing unstable ice formations. Please remain calm." From the window, Natasha sees cracks running like lightning beneath the tracks. The steel bridge trembles slightly with each wheel. The valley is silent except for the groan of ice under pressure. Emma grips Natasha's arm. If it breaks, Natasha steadies her. Trust the strength of the tracks. Fear is real, but panic is optional. The train creeps forward, each second heavy as an hour, until at last solid ground returns. Passengers exhale in unison. Further along, the train passes a tiny hamlet, 3 houses half buried in snow, smoke rising faintly from one chimney, yet no figures move outside. The teacher murmurs, "Some people refuse to leave, even when the mountains close their fists. They stay because roots run deeper than reason." Natasha reflects aloud. Perhaps survival is not only about warmth and food. Perhaps it is also about belonging, choosing to endure in the place that holds your memories. Emma looks at the silent houses with awe and sorrow. As dusk falls, a sound pierces the valley, the long, haunting howl of a wolf. The passengers stiffen. Emma whispers, "Did you hear that?" It's the legend. The man with the notebook looks up calmly. Yes. The white wolf is said to appear when travelers are near danger, guiding them if they listen. Another howl echoes, closer this time. Natasha leans to the window, but sees only shadows moving across the snow. Her heart races, not from fear, but from wonder. Night deepens. The train rounds a curve, its light sweeping across the valley. For a fleeting moment, Natasha sees it. A large wolf, white as snow, standing on a ridge. Its eyes glow faintly, not menacing, but watchful. Emma gasps, "Natasha, did you see it?" "It was real," Natasha whispers. "Or maybe real enough." Legends live because they carry truth, not because they can be proven. The wolf vanishes into the darkness, leaving only paw prints glimmering briefly before the snow covers them again. Back inside, passengers talk in hushed tones. Some dismiss the sight as imagination, others swear it was real. The guitar girl strums a low melody, imitating the rhythm of a wolf's howl. The woman with flowers whispers, "Whether spirit or flesh, it gave us courage. That is what matters." Natasha smiles gently. Yes, sometimes belief itself is the warmth that carries us forward. Natasha writes before sleep, "Tonight, in the valley of ice, we faced cracks beneath us, silence around us, and a howl above us." The wolf appeared, not to frighten, but to remind us. Guidance comes in many forms: light, fire, stories, even shadows in the snow. She closes the notebook, feeling strangely comforted. My friends, today, the valleys tested our courage with fragile ice, abandoned homes, and the cry of the white wolf. Was it myth, or memory, or miracle? Perhaps all three. But the journey continues. Ahead lie ancient stone bridges, frozen rivers we must cross, and one final challenge before the train reaches its last stop. Stay with me, because winter has not yet told its final tale. My dear friends, the valleys of ice are behind us, but the mountains still hold their hardest test. Tonight, the train must cross ancient bridges, frozen rivers, and the final trial of winter's power. Only then will we see what lies at the end of the journey. The train approaches a massive stone bridge spanning a deep gorge. Built centuries ago, its arches rise from cliffs like the bones of giants. Snow clings to the stones, and icicles hang like daggers. Emma whispers nervously, "Can it really hold us?" "It looks so old," Natasha reassures her. "Yes, Emma. Age is not weakness, it is proof of survival. This bridge has carried generations across the void." As the train clatters over the bridge, the sound echoes like drums of destiny. Passengers hold their breath, until at last the wheels touch solid ground again. Relief spreads like warmth through the cabin. Beyond the gorge lies a river, wide and completely frozen. The train glides across a temporary ice track laid on its surface. Every creak and groan beneath sends shivers through the passengers. Emma presses her eyes shut. Natasha, it feels like the river itself is awake, trying to break us. Natasha murmurs, No, Emma. The river sleeps under the ice. We are only crossing its dream. Halfway across, the ice crown cracks loudly. A jolt shakes the train. Gasps ripple through the cabin. The conductor's voice booms. Hold steady. We're almost there. Moments stretch like eternity. Then the train reaches the far bank. Cheers erupt and shoulders relax. Night falls, and with it, the last storm. Snow whirls so thick that windows turn white. The train groans under the weight of frost. Heating falters again. Passengers huddle close, fear sharpening like knives. The mysterious man with the notebook finally speaks clearly. This is the moment. Winter's last trial. Endure this night, and the mountains will let us pass. Emma trembles. Natasha, how do we endure when everything feels against us? Natasha places her hand over Emma's. We endure not alone, but together. Strength is not one person's fire. It is the fire we keep alive for each other. In the dining car, passengers gather once more. They light every candle, every lantern, until the room glows like a small sun. The teacher recites poetry about resilience. The guitar girl strums a song that rises above the storm. The woman with flowers places her last surviving bloom in a glass of water, a symbol of life against the cold. Natasha addresses them gently. My friends, winter may surround us, but it cannot claim us. Not while we remember warmth, music, beauty, and each other. The cabin fills with nods, tears, and quiet courage. The blizzard rages for hours. The train crawls forward. Shaking, its lights barely piercing the white wall outside. But inside, the circle of courage holds. At dawn, the storm finally breaks. Clouds scatter, and sunlight floods the snowy peaks. Passengers cheer, exhausted but victorious. Emma exhales with relief. We made it! Natasha, we truly made it. Natasha smiles, her eyes shining. Yes, Emma. The ultimate trial was not the storm outside, but the doubt inside. And we have passed it before resting, Natasha writes. Bridges show us history's endurance. Frozen rivers remind us of nature's patience, and storms remind us of our own strength. We survived not by being stronger than winter, but by being stronger together. My friends, tonight we crossed ancient bridges, fragile rivers, and the storm that winter saved for last. And yet, here we are, tired but unbroken. Ahead lies the final chapter of our journey, the arrival in the northern capital, the reunion of families, and the lessons winter leaves behind. Stay with me, for the destination holds its own surprises. My dear friends, we have crossed avalanches, frozen rivers, and storms. Now, at last, the train carries us out of the mountains toward the northern capital, a city built on endurance, history, and light. This is the final chapter of our winter journey. As morning breaks, smoke rises from hundreds of chimneys. Domes and towers appear above snowy roofs. Streets bustle with sleds, horses, and bundled figures hurrying to market. Emma presses her face to the glass. Natasha, look! After all that silence, the city is alive, like a hearth glowing in the snow. Natasha nods. Yes, Emma. Civilization itself is fire against winter. The train screeches into the capital station. Crowds wait eagerly. Families, friends, lovers. Tears and laughter erupt as passengers step down. The woman with flowers runs into her daughter's arms, handing her the last rose. The bride-to-be weeps with joy. The teacher is greeted by students carrying handmade signs. Welcome back, sir. The guitar girl is met by fellow musicians who lift her instrument in celebration. Emma smiles softly. Natasha, it feels like every goodbye on the train has turned into a hello here. Before parting, the companions share one final moment in the station cafe. Steam rises from cups of tea and hot chocolate. The mysterious man with the notebook closes his journal and says quietly, "Storms come and go, but the stories remain. Write yours well." Natasha thanks him, understanding that their paths may never cross again, but his words will travel with her forever. As Natasha and Emma step outside, snow begins to fall lightly. From a distant ridge beyond the city, a single howl rises, long, low, haunting. Emma gasps, "It's him!" The white wolf. Natasha smiles knowingly. Or maybe it's just the wind. But either way, it reminds us, guidance is always near if we choose to hear it. The sound fades, leaving only peace. That evening, in her room overlooking the snowy city, Natasha writes in her journal, "A winter journey is never only about reaching the destination. It is about surviving storms, sharing warmth, honoring legends, and learning that silence is not emptiness but depth. The mountains tested us, but also blessed us. And in every snowflake, I heard the same lesson. Fragility and resilience are one." She closes the book with quiet satisfaction. My friends, this is the end of our winter journey. We began with plains, we climbed mountains, we faced avalanches, storms, and silence. And we arrived in the northern capital not just as travelers, but as survivors, dreamers, and storytellers. If this story touched you, please like this video, subscribe to Listen Up English, and share it with your friends. In the comments, tell me, what was your favorite part of this winter journey? Until next time, this is Natasha, wishing you courage in storms, warmth in silence, and endless curiosity wherever your road leads. Keep listening, keep learning, and keep traveling with English as your guide.